Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more Pro Gamer ladder replays, and this one's gonna be a little bit weird. We have Flash playing Protoss here in the top right. You know, obviously Flash's Protoss is very, very good, but his opponent, it would be fair to call this guy the best Zerg in the entire world. In the top left, it's Soulkey. Soulkey is literally the reigning ASL champion. He has been one of the best Zergs in the world for a long time. In fact, you know, before Flash went to the military, Soulkey was one of the only Zergs that could really give him a good game with his Terran. So honestly, you know, I would be super surprised if Flash is able to take this. In fact, if he can even make this close at all, that is going to be unbelievably impressive, because, you know, again, Flash has very good Protoss, but it's not going to compare to Soulkey's Zerg, right? That's my take on it, but let's see, you know. Yeah, so anyways, while we kind of wait for this to get going, as Flash looks like he is actually going for maybe a Nexus first here, I want to thank you guys for checking out ArtosisCasts. I hope that you guys are enjoying, you know, enjoying the games and the channel. And thank you so much for all your comments and all the likes and things like that. And yeah, please do make sure you subscribe. It's much appreciated. So Soulkey here going to just go ahead with a hatch first and a Nexus first there from Flash. So a little bit greedy. You know, he's going to be able to get away with this because he is against a hatchery first. Of course, he hasn't scouted. If this was a quick pull and went to Flash first, Flash would die here for sure. Right, so there is some greed to this. Now, every Pro Protoss will still do this sometimes. You know, the other builds that Protoss does, they kind of want you to go for pool first. So, you know, it's like a percentage thing. It's like, yeah, occasionally you'll die with this, but overall it makes Protoss a stronger race to have this as one of the builds that they rotate in. Now, Soulkey comes over, sees exactly what it is with his drone, and will send that drone back towards home. He can't really do any real harassment here with it. Flash going to go ahead, get up that ramp, start scouting around a little bit, sees the spawning pool, and knows, of course, exactly what build that he's up against as well. That is one thing to mention, right? Like, Flash does have the best off races of all time, right? Like, he does have very, very high-level Protoss. But this is like one of the matchups that, you know, is questionable, where it's like, okay, well, a super high level PvZ, are you able to do that, Flash? And, well, sometimes he certainly has some good victories with Protoss for Zerg. But I remember when he announced he was going to play random in ASL, a little side story here. It was kind of funny because all the pros were kind of talking trash, like, yeah, no, he's not going to be able to win any games as like Protoss for Zerg. Of course, he ended up playing reasonably well with Protoss for Zerg, but also during his practice for that upcoming ASL season, he did get some big wins against strong Zergs as well. But what is that consistency going to look like now that he's out of the military, right? And a little bit more rusty. So anyways, Soulkey has his third hatchery going up. Flash at home mining away, getting his cybernetics core, has that photon cannon already being made. And gonna just kind of continue scouting here with the probe, keeping that alive. We'll be able to check the timing on this layer. So, you know, he's got enough intel. He knows that there's not like any sort of all-in on the way. Is he gonna start making some zealots? This is like a very, very greedy build. Not even a single zealot being made. Instead, just utilizing the probe for this scouting intel. A lot of times you'll see those zealots come out, not necessarily for defense in a situation like this, but to push across the map, make sure that your opponent's making Zerglings, and to get some additional scouting done. But Flash has been able to keep this probe alive with no problem whatsoever. So hasn't needed to do that, just now starting his first Zealot a little bit after 4 minutes. So he'll have a very, very fast Corsair here as well. The second gas finishing up. And the probe remains alive. More links coming out here for Soulkey. His speed upgrade will eventually finish, and he should be able to catch the probe at that point. Well, of course, you'll be able to catch it at that point. I mean, speedlings, you're going to be able to finally kill the probe. A lot of times you can get them with the slowlings anyways, but Soulkey was playing pretty greedily as well, right? Like staying on just 2 lings to chase the probe around and not really wanting to overspend his larva to get rid of that probe because he doesn't have anything sneaky coming anyways. Now, the lair is done. Hydralisk Den as well as a hatchery coming up. So that's part of the Sim City right there. And the Hydralisk Den will be for his anti-Corsair defense. The first Corsair is out and should be able to get at least 1 kill. But yeah, this might be something that Flash is a little bit less used to, right? Most of the time we see a Spire with these quick layer builds. Of course, Flash will be aware of this play, of what this is, right? Where it's like a more macro Hydra where you're going to just get Overlord speed more quickly. But yeah, it is going to be something that it's just the percentage of time you see builds like this as opposed to Spire is lower. So yeah, that's it's something that he probably has less practice against. And if you're a full-time Protoss player, you get more practice against it just because you play the race all the time. So you will hit everything just a higher number of times than someone who plays all 3 races. So the Corsair does get that single Overlord. We'll continue to patrol around a little bit here. Three Corsairs out and trying to harass. Another Corsair coming. He does have legs on the way and has those 2 gateways as well as +1. Almost done here. Kind of interesting to see how many Corsairs he's making against this. Not really minding that there's no Spire, instead just focusing on killing off Overlords. And look at that, right? Like, he's taking some damage, but Micro and the Corsair's back. Is he actually going to get this one as well? Oh my god, nice juggling there. 2 very hurt Corsairs. So hold on. 2, 5, 6. He's killed 6 Overlords so far. Look at this. 40 of 29 right now for Soulkey. As low as 40 of 21, making 6 Overlords right now. He is getting Overlord speed as well as ranged attack and +1 ranged attack as well. So yeah, Soulkey's going to be able to get into his macro, but it feels like Flash did a pretty darn good job to open. Some speed lots coming across the map now. And, well, he's going to try to put the pressure on. Like, those Lings are going to get absolutely shredded if he does choose to attack him. But there's a fair amount of Hydras behind. I don't think you actually are supposed to attack here unless you're going to dive on the Overlords. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Look at that. Pops 2 Overlords immediately. The Zealots will decide to back up as they can't get through their single file. That is just not an area you want your Zealots to attack in. But he does pop 2 more Overlords, which is a pretty big deal. The Zealot's just going to remain out here as the Corsairs go hunting once again. He's going to see a ton of Hydras over here as well. Looking back at home here for Flash. A couple more Photon Cannons going up. Getting some High Templars for that Size Storm. You know, he's definitely going to need that pretty soon. These pushes from this type of build come out a lot quicker than if you had opened with the Spire. Now, look at this. Gets in there and kills 3 more. Loses a couple of his Corsairs. Finally, those 2 red ones do end up going down. But once again, supply blocks Soulkey. Flash doing a great job of really harassing heavily with these Corsairs. Honestly, killing a lot more than what I had expected to see. Now, Soulkey's attack is coming across, and a lot of these Zealots are getting caught. He's already lost 1. Looks like 3 more are kind of being forced off to the side and may not be able to make it home. He's moving forward right now with that attack, but Flash has a fair amount of High Templars. All right, the Corsairs somehow getting yet another kill. Doesn't quite supply block Soulkey, but getting closer now. Looks like we have the drop upgrade on the way, by the way. So kind of an interesting take on this from Soulkey. He's killed off quite a few of the Corsairs and has decided, you know what, let's go ahead, get Overlord drops, and then drop into the main base a little bit. Lurkers are on the way as well, so we might see a Lurker drop at the mineral line. That's always a great play. But will he be able to get the drop off with Flash not knowing? Because that is a great way to quickly end a game. If the Protoss player doesn't realize that that's coming, you can get so much damage. Just kill that main Nexus very quickly. Now, the Corsair's coming back in, going to get 2 more kills. I can't actually believe this. Dude, he has killed so many Overlords at this point. This is absolutely absurd. Soulkey has spent a huge portion of this game supply blocked. The Zealot's actually trading reasonably well. Going to go ahead, run away from the Hydras, and go after the drones. So you do have to take that seriously and go chase them as well. We have a shuttle on the way for some maybe High Templar drops or maybe even a Dark Templar drop there as well. Observatory coming up, and that's going to help him to see any lurkers that Soulkey ends up making. He has a very Zealot-heavy composition, so that is a little bit scary, and you see already there are some lurkers on the way. The Corsairs moving into more of an anti-drop location, so this is exactly where you want them. If you think, you know what, they might end up dropping, or maybe Flash is just done with them, they've taken a lot of damage, just sit them here for a little bit and just check in case a drop comes. You never really know. Now, a big group of Overlords moving together, that's a little bit suspicious. The way that those are moving, a little bit suspicious when you see them moving in a group like that. Like clicking on them, it doesn't look like they have units in them as of yet. But anytime you see a big group moving like that, it's like, well, is that for detection? Do you have that many for detection, or are we going to have a drop? Now, this group of Zealots getting ready to hit this third base location for Soulkey doesn't have a whole lot in here, but a reasonable SimCity. The Corsairs find these Overlords. Oh, yeah, I think he's starting to figure this out, that this is likely going to be a drop. Now, the Zealots get in here. They actually pick off the Evolution Chamber, but +1 had already finished for Soulkey, so not the end of the world. Now, here comes a drop. The Corsairs are going to help get a couple kills in here. Flash moving his army up. Okay, some decent Psy Storms. Can he block this completely, though? Psy Storms go out. The Dragoons doing a very good job so far, but Soulkey just going to drop all over these Dragoons. And this is a little bit of a problem. But hold on. The Dragoons are doing a pretty good job on the defense. Zealot's coming up with this other group as well, and it seems like he's clearing it pretty well. Not losing too many probes as of yet. Obviously, no buildings have gone down either. But he did end up losing a couple High Templars, used a lot of his Psy Storms in there as well. Yeah, I believe he lost 2 High Templars during that. So that, you know, that will impact his next move out. But Soulkey's drop, I think, didn't do nearly as much as he was looking for. By the way, this group of Speedlots looks like they did get out of there eventually, but Soulkey has moved all of his units up, maybe for another drop, maybe just as a rally point for another attack, something like that. Flash continuing to macro out, leaving an anti-drop group in his main base. Has 4 Psy Storms ready with these 4 Dragoons, a couple Observers, and a Zealot. I think that those probably will rotate out when he's ready to expand, but just waiting just in case there's another drop already on the way. And, well, there certainly will be, because the Overlords are loading up. Looks like we have about 5 Overlords, 12 Hydras, and 4 Lurkers in there. So it is definitely a very scary drop. Zealots running up here. The Overlord's just going to stop for a moment. They don't want to fly over those Zealots and give them too much advance notice. Hydra's attacking forward, and here comes that drop now. What is he going to do with this drop? Is he just going to flank the army with it? My God. No, he is going to go towards that main base. Is Flash going to realize, wait, where is this thing going? This is the weirdest drop ever, and it looks like he may, in fact, be deciding to go ahead and try a flank. He goes in, and he is going to drop on top of everything. Burrows those Lurkers. Wow, what a move here from Soulkey, dropping on top of Flash's army. Some Psy Storms start to go down. Oh, my God, really good storms there from Flash. And, in fact, he will end up breaking through everything there. Observer gets picked off. And once again, we're at the same exact spot where it's like 100 supply against 60 supply with the drop not doing that much. So Flash continues to try to attack into Soulkey here. You know, Soulkey has very, very low supply. He's only got 30 drones throughout this. It feels like he's like kind of all in at this point. And in fact, he calls GG there after not getting the drops to work. And I got to say, that's somewhat absurd that Flash can, with his Protoss, beat the best Zerg in the world. Okay, hope you enjoyed. GG.